Good morning, everybody. So, I'm just going to admit it. Yesterday when we were doing that pull on the truck, my phone died. And I was so pissed. I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it and say to be continued. That's the truth. I didn't mean to do that, but I was so upset. I'd worked on that video and I wanted to get it posted, so I just went ahead and posted it the way I did. So what's today, Vic? Today's Wednesday. And I'm getting ready to head out to work. I've got some dirt to haul today. I got to haul an excavator back to a job site and got a bunch of stuff to do today. But my helper's ready to go. She has been ready to go for 15 minutes. She's been whimpering. Are you ready? You ready to go to work? All right, let's go. No, we're not taking the dually. We're not taking the dually, honey. We're taking the dump truck. Come on. Second choice is the Suburban. Oh, we're going in the International, honey. Come on. Here. You ready to help Papal? All right, come on. Here she goes. We got to unload the excavator. You are something else. Something else. Smartest damn dog I've ever seen in my life. She's already ready to get back in the truck. You ready to go see Roger? We gotta go haul some dirt for Roger. You ready? All right. I swear she pays more attention to what's going on in my kitchen. All right, so anyway, as I was saying this morning when we first got going, my phone died yesterday afternoon. The first time I made a pull, and I was so aggravated I just said to hell with it and uploaded that video. But on the plate it was really, really good. I went back to the shop, activated the second kit, took it out on the road and let it roll into the first kit, and it was rolling really good. And when the fogger came in around 100 mile an hour, it white smoked the tires like a turbo car. I couldn't believe it. So it's pretty lively. And so before we do too many more pulls, I want to go ahead and put one stage colder plug in it. It had dash 10s in it. I'm going to put some dash 11s in it tonight. Tommy's going to go get his bottles filled, get a set of plugs, and also his O2 sensor died, so he's going to get a new O2 sensor for us so that the air fuel gauge works again. So we're going to get that stuff put in the truck this evening when I get home, and we'll try this again tonight. But I'm going to have somebody ride with me to hold the camera, because that thing, it's way too fast to try and drive holding the camera and doing all that. So we'll be back with you after I get done working today. What's that?
Just run along the street. Oh, don't take my picture.
Come on now, Michael. He's my buddy. Hey, Michael, ask me if I've been getting any pussy.
Have you been getting any pussy?
The very first time I ever had Billy on the job with me, you were there. The very first thing you said to him when you walked up to him, he said, "You been getting any pussy?" That's how Billy got broke into working with Roger Dorsey. What do you think, Roger Dodger?
I think it's gonna work.
You think it's gonna work?
Yep.
Are y'all done?
I'm done. Just got off of unemployment. Trying to give me a check, and I just got off unemployment, and I'm tickled to be back to work. I was making more money than I'm making now, but I tell you what, you should be working.
That's right.
You know, so I'm gonna just keep working and hope Trump sends me another check, and I'll be happy.
What do you think of that guy over there sitting on the fucking lunchbox?
Oh, he's a cool little dude.
That's Michael. That's Michael.
He got on Social Security. He's been eating that commodity cheese. He loves that stuff.
Okay, so I'm done working for the day, at least done working from excavating anyway. Looking a little rough. I'm starting to realize I need a haircut, like I need to shave. I might have to start keeping up with my appearance a little better, huh, Tommy?
Nah, the rougher the better.
So anyway, I'm off work. Told my boss, piss off. He's a slave driver. So we got the truck in here, and we're gonna go ahead and put a new O2 sensor in the exhaust system so that the air-fuel ratio gauge works again. And I think I've come to figure out, somebody messaged me, this is like the second O2 sensor that's gone out. And I think what the situation is the O2 sensor is wired to the key switch. So when we get in the truck and turn the key on and program the controller or make changes to the ignition, that means the O2 sensor is heating up. It has a heating element in it. So when that thing gets scalding hot, like it's been on for 2 or 3 minutes, and it's really hot, and you start the truck up, a little bit of that E85, a little raw E85 hits it, and it destroys the O2 sensor. So I think we finally figured out why it keeps burning the O2 sensors out. So we're going to do something there. We're going to have to be a little bit more careful, or I'm going to have to put the O2 sensor on a separate switch so that we don't continue to burn those up. What are you doing? You better get used to those, because with the tune-up that's in that thing, you're going to be filling them a lot more often.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the O2 sensor screws into the exhaust system. This is the passenger side cylinder head and header. So we've got this brand new O2 sensor here, thanks to our friends at Jegs who replaced these things for us. I believe this is the second time, and I feel like if I do the right things, we won't have to do this again anytime soon. So we're going to go ahead and get this installed, and then we're going to put a set of plugs in it. We've got 4 boxes full of -11s. So we're going to get those put in here shortly. Tommy's going to help me, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to work. All right, so we've got the O2 sensor replaced, and Tommy's going to start putting a set of plugs in this thing. We're taking a set of -10 plugs out and putting a set of -11s in it. That's a heat range colder plug. This is the coldest that I'm aware that NGK makes. It's a non-projected tip plug. Now, I did notice the other day when we had the plugs out of this, or we had a plug out of it, they were extremely rich, and they still are. So We definitely need to put a new set of plugs in it to start over with our tuning. We'll see. I turned both kits on last night. Both kits is 525, so we'll pull all the plugs out. And I wasn't on the kits for very long, but probably long enough to melt a plug if we had a serious problem. So we'll go ahead and pull all the plugs out of it, and we'll lay them up on the cowl and check them out, and we'll get these Dash 11s in there. Well, guys, I got bad news. Well, bad news for us. So we started putting spark plugs in Tommy's truck, and I think I mentioned yesterday it's been starting hard, and we weren't really sure why. We just found out why. We pulled number 8 spark plug out, and water came out. So I cleared the water out of the cylinder, put a compression tester in it, and it shows 215 pounds of pressure, cranking pressure, which is what it should have been. That's what it's always been, but it bleeds off. And when you pull the radiator cap off, I can see the air coming up through the cooling system, coming up through the water. So evidently, we've got a head gasket that's injured, and I'm not sure when this happened. There's been a couple instances where it hit the rev limiter and shot some flames out, and generally when that happens, they nip a head gasket. I'm not sure if that's what caused it, but I think it's been leaking for a while. I don't think this is something that's new just since yesterday when I jetted it up, because you know, I checked the start retard in the ignition box yesterday, and it's got 10 degrees of retard in it, and I added another 5, and it still wanted to start hard yesterday. So I figure it's probably been getting water in that one cylinder for a while. We don't run coolant or antifreeze in it, so and I really haven't seen it puffing any water or any steam out the exhaust. It's just a very slight leak, evidently. If you let it sit overnight, it'll put water in the cylinder. So we're gonna go ahead and tear it apart. I've got some used head gaskets here that are in good shape. We can clean up and put some copper coat on them. But we're gonna have to pull this one head off and get this thing fixed. Today is what, Wednesday, Tommy?
Mm-hmm.
It's Wednesday. Guess who don't have no quit in them? Who's that? Who's that, Tommy? Who don't have no quit in them?
That's us.
Here we go. Don't get upset, guys. It's just water. We don't run antifreeze in it. So here we go. We're going to start the process. See how long it takes to get this head off. So it's 6:41. I've already got the intake off. Got the rocker arms off. Tommy's working on getting that header off. Once he gets the header off, we'll go ahead and unbolt that head, pull the studs out of the block, and we'll lift the head up off of it. That's not bad for, I started like 6:02.
What time is it now?
6:30, 6:49, something like that. Moving right along. All right, 7:04. We're lifting the head off. See anything wrong with the head. Let's go check the head gasket. Because it's evidently shoved the head gasket out someplace. Right there. Right there. Right there is where it got it. It's just tiny little bit, just tiny bit right there. See, this is where it's been hurt before. We nipped a head gasket here once before, and I'm guessing that there's a little bit of a low spot in the deck surface of the block, and it's allowing it to leak through right there. You see it right through there. See how it's blackened right there? Right there. And then into that coolant passage right here. That one right there. A little bit between the cylinders right there. Easy fix. It just sucks. You know? There's evidently a bad spot in that deck. Steer to the right a little. To the right. That's good. Put it in park. Alright. You can see that darkened area right there. And that's where it torched the block before. Hold this light, Tommy. So this area right here is where it had torched the block or torched the head once before, and I cleaned it up as best I could. But that's its weak spot. The block needs to be decked to get it perfect. It's taken just enough pressure off the head gasket right there to let it make trouble. So we'll put another head gasket on it and limp it through until winter, until the next time we freshen it up anyway. But everything else looks good. Cylinder walls look good. Pistons look all right. You see a part number on those pistons. They're standard bore 4125. 13.5 to 1. All right. So, see if we can find a head gasket tomorrow. If not, we'll have to use one of our used ones.
Okay.
We'll have to clean it up and copper coat it to limp it through. But
It was just supposed to be changing out the O2 sensor and spark plugs. Easy day. And
Yeah.
I pull out number 8 and it pukes out water like, oh, here we go. But
Well-
I'm glad we know now why it's starting hard.
right, because I mean, we could have lifted a head, filled that cylinder full of water, and broke the connecting rod and blew it
Yeah,
up.
we caught the cancer early.
Yeah, we caught it early. Why don't you go ahead and pull the plugs out of that side and see if any water comes out of that
Oh,
side, because
no.
if it does, we're going to pull the other head. Pray for us, guys. More bad news. Pulled the plugs out of the driver's side. Number 7 had water in it too. Just not as much, but it's got a little bit. So both heads got to come off. We have to replace both the head gaskets. I'm going to guess that the head gasket's probably got nipped by hitting the rev limiter. It's hit the rev limiter a couple of times while it was spraying nitrous. That's really, really bad on them. So I'm going to guess that most likely hitting the rev limiter is what did this, because the plugs all look fine. There's no signs of detonation, anything like that. But we do have something going on here, so I want to show you this real quick. So this is the passenger side head gasket. As you can see, it's gotten hot and it's leaked combustion pressure past the head gasket between the center 2 cylinders. And you can see over here on this side, it crept out and got into the cooling system just a little bit. This is the head side, and that would be the block side. So I'm guessing that the block needs to be decked, which we kind of figured it might after we had hurt this head gasket earlier this year. We had a fuel filter on the standalone, got plugged up, and we didn't catch it. It leaned it out and burnt the head gasket on this side. So since this side definitely had to come apart and has issues, we're going to go ahead and take the other side off now, because number 8 or number 7 on this side showed signs of water on the spark plug. And I kind of thought something was going on. It's been starting hard for a while. Just one of them things. You find it when you start doing maintenance. We've had this thing together for how long, Tom? It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
We've run probably 20 bottles of nitrous through this thing on 4 1/4. And, which it wasn't making 4 1/4 since the plate was jetted wrong. But regardless, it's had a bunch of nitrous run through it. And so it is what it is. We got to take it apart and we'll fix it. There's no quit in us, right?
Nope.
Probably ain't gonna make it to the dyno tomorrow though. I gotta call Jeff Green at CIA and tell him that we're not gonna make it. We're just gonna have to raw dog it going into the weekend.
Hey, but at least we didn't just put this thing in the dyno tomorrow the way it was.
Right, I mean, we could have put it on the dyno, throw 5 1/4 at it and scattered it.
Killed it.
Yeah, and just absolutely scattered it. So it's a good thing we caught it when we did. Well, whatever. So that's going to do it for tonight's video. I'm going to go ahead and start putting this video together and get it uploaded. We're going to eat dinner. Tommy's going to stay out here and continue working on the truck, pulling the header and the head off the driver's side. No big deal. It won't take a few minutes. But tomorrow we'll have to make a parts run. And I don't think Jeg stocks these head gaskets, so one of us may end up having to go to Summit tomorrow to get these head gaskets. I don't know. We'll have to find out in the morning.
Where's some of that?
Talmadge, Ohio. It's about 2.5 hours north. So that's going to do it for tonight. Things don't always go as planned. It's just the way it is. If you want to go racing, this is what it takes.